Imagine we're walking together. There's a random girl and I tell you to go speak to her right now. The moment that sentence leaves my mouth, your mind is gonna rush with negative outcomes. I don't care how confident you are, you know this is the case. But why are we like this? Well, imagine our early ancestors 100,000 years ago, eyeballing the gap between two islands to swim across. Those who saw the swim without any negative outcomes might have never made it through, and thus their branch slowly found its way out of the gene pool. If you weren't cautious enough back then, that could easily result in your death. But today, the worst of the worst outcomes are still just a little bit of discomfort, and that's probably not even gonna be the case. We all have this phaeric mindset where we think that effort in itself will result in a negative outcome. But if you think about it, that's almost never the case. I mean, any effort has a net positive outcome these days. Like, even if you don't get that girl's number, it's still a win. I mean, you still went there, you improved your social skills, you defeated your fears. So when the odds are so much better, but we're still super scared of everything, that's just gonna result in a life not fully lived, where we're scared of everything. It's a fact that people on their deathbed rarely regret doing something. It's more likely they regret not doing something and wishing they did it in time. The problem is that in this modern world, we don't need that much courage anymore. I mean, we don't need the courage to go outside and hunt just to eat. I mean, you can just double tap your phone and a double cheese pizza is gonna be waiting at your door, and you even have the option to not talk to the delivery guy. Anyway, so we're hardwired to see the negative outcome first, the rejection, the awkwardness, the failure, and underestimate the likelihood of a positive outcome, but only first, because as humans we also have the cognitive ability to turn our thoughts around. And all these excuses of there's no point in doing this because this is gonna happen anyway is mostly just a barrier we use to keep us from discomfort. People with depression also feature this pessimistic mindset even more, so if you feel like you're not depressed, then start thinking about life in a more positive way. And surrounding yourself with the right people can actually change what you perceive to be possible. The next bias is a very important one that I think cannot be overlooked, the self-serving bias. So let's say it's exam day, you're writing a test, you finished, you hand it in, and it comes back a few days later with a full score. I mean, you pat yourself on the back, you studied hard, you prepared for it, and boom, you nailed it. Good job. You feel amazing about yourself. But what if that same exam came back not so good? Would you accept the defeat, study harder next time, and start digging into where you fucked up? Or would you rather just blame the loss on something external? The guy behind me was breathing loud the whole time, or the teacher didn't give us enough time to finish. So how do you want to fix this? Number 1, get real. Number 2, it's actually to do some A/B split tests. Figure out where you ran short, start digging deep into the problem. The reason why 99% of people don't do this is because it's literally so much easier to just simply blame it on something else instead of actually figuring out where you ran short, figuring out what you should do different next time, and just taking full responsibility. Even David Goggins did this every time. He calls it the After Action Report, or AAR for short. Let me tell you a story. It's the heat of World War II, and the US Navy is trying to armor their planes to make them stronger. They analyze hundreds of planes and look at the most damaged and destroyed parts. So they want to put extra armor on exactly these parts of the plane. But then this guy, Abraham Wald, comes up on deck, looks the captain in the eye, and says, "Bro, armor the spots with the least damage because the planes that got hit at those spots never even came back." Basically, your opinion might be biased because you only have your experience and limited information. And maybe your system isn't even that effective, it's just that you're standing in the lucky position of the survivor. This is the survivorship bias. Because there's always an element of chance, but if your odds are 1% and you try 100 times, then you're already guaranteed success. And trying is always better than not trying at all, because if you don't try, your odds are literally 0. If you try, your odds might be 0.0001%. But if you don't try, your odds are just 0. When the odds are so low, most people won't even begin. They won't begin because they don't think it's worth it. But sometimes overconfidence can be good. To accomplish success, you must first predict success. And at this point, this isn't cockiness, it's just a mix of audacity and aspiration. Plus, proving people wrong is one of the best feelings anyway. So avoid being the best at something because it can make you weak. Always reset your boundaries and be willing to be that stupid fuck in the classroom again. Because if you're the smartest man in the room, you're in the wrong room. Be the underdog, prove people wrong, and remember, the wolf on the hill isn't as hungry as the wolf climbing the hill. Now go watch this video or meditate for 5 minutes.